welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Upsurge Minor League opening week. My name is Orbital. I am joined here by Switch. How are you doing, Switch?
Pretty good, Orbital. It's been quite a while, but back into Upsurge, so very excited to be having this first week going.
I think everyone is excited. We had fantastic games throughout the earliest parts of the week. We had UCL playing on Monday, and then the UPL obviously coming out on Tuesday. But today, it is the UML's time. Today, we do have ASUC versus Enigmatic Gaming, I believe. And I'm super excited to see these two teams play. Obviously, there are no records currently, as this is the first game of the season. But that's not really the big thing at this point. We just had a patch drop, I believe, yesterday.
Yep, we absolutely did. And there was a bit of work done on the patch, really just taking out some of the extreme cases in terms of bounds. So you're looking at some of those changes like the Akali rework. Hopefully she's not going to be 100% ban rate anymore. I think she's in a much healthier spot right now. She doesn't get a free escape from her ultimate. She actually has to target champions for that. So maybe when you gank her and she pops into the shroud, maybe she doesn't get out so easily. But moving on, Aphelios as well, getting just strict damage nerfs because let's be honest, he is a bit overtuned and a bit unwieldy to deal with right now.
Not really strict damage nerfs. It's just his sniper rifle, his Calibrum rifle has been, the distance has obviously been shortened, meaning when he tags someone, it is no longer infinite range. It is now cut to about 1800, right, which is, I believe, a little bit further than like a Xerath ultimate range at that point, or a little bit shorter, sorry.
Right. Sorry. Last patch damage nerfs. This patch around, I guess, just getting rid of some of those weird cases where you would get a ton of range off of that snipe. So for the most part, just keeping him in line like the rest of the champions. Set, also someone that has received changes recently where he's also been hit a bit with the nerf bat. Of course, his W, which is pretty much one of his biggest playmaking abilities, the Haymaker that gives him that big shield that gives him damage as well, is going to be on a higher cooldown. The damage reduced from there, as well as the health regen lowered. But you were mentioning it before, Orbital, but one of those bigger widespread changes is, of course, jungle EXP tweaked around quite a bit. You're seeing Krugs given a lot more value, which I personally appreciate. I always thought that Krugs after the EXP nerfs was kind of, once again, in that weird zone where you never want to go near Krugs because it's so away from the rest of Summoner's Rift. But now maybe teams, or junglers rather, will have a good incentive to hit there. I know red and blue buff as well has been hit with a small EXP nerf, not too bad. But the bigger one is, of course, EXP scaling, where around between level 4 and level 6, you're getting slightly more EXP. So maybe some of these early junglers that get put behind in the very early game will find a way to bounce back through sheer farming alone.
Yeah, and that also, as we talked about, with jungle changes always come different jungle pathing.
Yep.
Much of the current meta has been centered around either power farming and hoping that you get strong enough in the jungle, as well as, combating the nature of gank-heavy teams, right? We've seen Zac rise in solo queue, and we've seen a lot of high-impact ganking junglers being able to pull off these low economy, high impact farming and routing. So super excited to see what happens there. But right off the bat, we are in to pick a ban here. ASU, even with the nerf, Set is taken off the table, not letting that one through.
Yeah, I can sort of understand why Set is still really strong at the moment. He's got so much playmaking ability. Even if you do up some of the cooldowns on like his W, it's still such a massive ability that if you use it properly in teamfights, you get a huge amount of value out of it. So no surprise there. The Senna as well being hovered right now. Obviously no surprise as well. The top 4 AD carries, something like Senna, Aphelios, definitely Xayah is up there because of the Lovers duo. And of course, you're still seeing a lot of Misfortune as well. They've all been sort of taken down a couple notches in some of the recent patches, but still very high in popularity.
Definitely, and we see the Syndra ban away, which I feel is an okay ban in the current state. Syndra is one of the few control mages in the mid lane that still holds a lot of power wielding in there without, really being taken down. And now we're looking at the first jungle ban, an early gank Elise jungle ban coming out. So really hitting hard in all aspects of the Rift right now.
Yeah, absolutely. The mid and the jungle getting targeted this time around with the hover of the Silas. We'll see if that's actually locked in. By the way, Elise, super popular in 10.1 and even in preseason 9 because that was really the meta shift. It's all just about how much work you can get done in the first 10, the first 15 minutes because past that point, because of overall the new season and how they tweak jungle EXP, junglers don't really have a late game to look forward to so much. It's just more just about how much, crowd control can I bring in a late game team fight. That's about it. And that's kind of the same line of thinking with Elise. She does a big amount of damage early. She's everywhere across the map. She's beautiful at ganking. But once you get to that late game, less than stellar. This time around, the Styles is going to end up being banned.
Yep, and banning that out, though, does leave up the Olaf, which, as we stated, is a great early game jungle clear as well as ganker. Also, great potential to duel early on, so locking that in affords them no loss in terms of giving what their strategy is. A very nice pickup by ASU.
Right, and we typically just see teams go ahead and secure their junglers very early on into the game because you want to start off on the right foot. You want to secure yourself a good early game, and this is one of the steps to doing that. You're already seeing another champion with a good early game, the Misfortune, being hovered right now. I believe last patch, she was hit with a bit of an attack speed nerf, but it really doesn't do much to her. She still functions beautifully well, and the best thing about Misfortune, no matter how much you camp her, she can still function properly in team fights. She just has to stick to the backline, auto attack here and there, and have a well-placed bullet time to really assist her team.
Yeah, getting a 0.75% growth, attack speed growth and nerf is, not great, obviously, but still not enough to impact her damage. But we do see the J4 locked in, so looking like a slight low combo situation set up here, going for the gank route. But Braum locked in as well, which is going to do well to block out a lot of the hail of bullets coming from Misfortune, able to stop her. A lot of the issues that come out, that big, massive spread of bullets is able to deal quite a bit of damage.
Absolutely part of the reason why we've seen Braum sort of come back into the meta. And this bot lane in general secured for ASU is incredibly safe. The Braum shielding, like you said, that Vanguard in the front line that can absorb an entire bullet time if positioned properly. And also the fact that he can go ahead and follow alongside Ezreal when Ezreal escapes. If the bot lane in general is going to get ganked, it's going to be very hard to find a successful one for the side of Enigmatic.
Yeah, and Mordekaiser locked in, one of the last champions that have still been dominating the Rift, even though his nerfs went through, I believe, on 10.2. Still very dominating and also a very nice flex pick. So Enigmatic not giving away too much in either the top or mid lane. Going into this next round of bans here, we're already seeing the top lane looking like it's being targeted with the Camille ban here. So what else do you think is going to come out here?
I mean, I like the top lane pinch in general because I think Mordekaiser is a very strong laner. So as long as you take out some of his counters, he will always have the potential to sort of become that top lane menace that can snowball out of control and really change the shape of the macro game that we're going to see in the mid game. But either way, the Leona, you can see as well getting targeted. I don't mind so much that ASU is really targeting that support position. But at the same time, I don't think Enigmatic's composition is really going to rely on the bot lane. I think I'm looking most forward to who the mid laner or potentially top laner is going to be for Enigmatic, depending on where they put that Mordekaiser around.
That is so, and Fizz banned away as well. So looking like a little bit targeted ban there against Who's This Guy on the side of ASU. But double support bans actually coming out for the side of ASU, really targeting that bot lane, making sure Misfortune does not have a solid laning duo, which I really do like.
Yeah, and that certainly is going to make it much easier for the Ezreal and Braum to get out of the laning phase. So you appreciate that much at the very least. And now the Rumble being hovered. Man, Rumble has been wreaking havoc and mid lane at the moment, and I'm not surprised that it's locked in right here for Enigmatic, going to be bringing a massive amount of team fight potential coming into the mid game.
Yeah, and to remember, he did get a very slight nerf to a little bit of what made him so problematic in that mid lane was to his scrap shield. In this current release 10.3, they did take it down by a few notches, I believe by about 5%. in the early point of the game in terms of move speed, and as well as the shielding has been taken a little bit in the early game. So a little bit of a nod to his early game rotation and spellcasting, so we'll have to see how that works. But Orianna picked up on the side of ASU, so a very nice, safe and versatile mid laner coming out.
Yeah, I would say so. And this really does fit the entire... Okay, well, there's the curveball that I was certainly waiting for. Soraka top lane. I've been waiting for this to come out, Orbital. I've just
all right,
been
walk us
foaming
through it.
at the
Walk
mouth.
us through the terror of Soraka top. Or mid at this point, considering...
Right.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Oh,
I
wait,
thought
wait.
we were
Is this
done
J4
with this.
support?
I'm super confused right now. This must be a troll hover, but...
If this is locked in,
boy.
that might be... Okay, okay.
All
this
right.
is
No,
what we
this
were hoping to see, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. This... I'm so sure this is Rumble support because this was played in LCK, I think last night by a Freak of Freaks, actually. Wow, I didn't expect to see this so early on, but this is the spice that you can only expect from UML of all places. It's actually lovely stuff. Let's start with the Soraka top. Let's just unpack this gift that's been given.
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Soraka top, it just won't lose, right? It's just this top laner that's going to be farming, that's going to have insane regen, and more important than anything, it's just going to keep the enemy top laner down. No matter what the Mordekaiser does, he's going to get kited out. He's going to get controlled for the most part, which is what you want against the Mordekaiser. You don't want him to snowball. The thing is, once you get to the mid game, you bring all of this extra enchanting with you, right? You bring this protection for someone like the Ezreal or someone like the Orianna that, to be honest, can be preyed upon from the composition of Enigmatic. You're seeing a good amount of dive with both the Jarvan and the Akali, as well as the indirect dive being the Rumble, being able to lay down that equalizer in the backline and just bring that extra damage that could lead to those executes. Mordekaiser as well, throw him in there. The bullet time, it's all there, but the Soraka is there to completely counteract that. So I appreciate that being thrown into the composition. For Enigmatic, though, the Akali into the mid lane and the Rumble into the support position. Rumble support, I mean, it's in the same sense of Rumble mid, where you bring a lot of this damage early. Your all in is fantastic, and going for these short trades as well it just works very well with Misfortune. It's got a good amount of synergy to it. And finally, once you get to that team fight phase, I mean, what's better than bullet time plus equalizer? It's just so much zoning, and I think more than anything, objective control is going to be extremely strong for Enigmatic.
I would have to agree, and I mean, looking at both sides as well, you have good early game potential coming out, as well as a little bit to mid to late game. So you were talking about earlier, just kind of to pick up, is you were talking about how junglers towards the mid to late game, they really don't have much to look forward to, right? This time around, though, we're looking at ASUC, and we see the Olaf paired with the Soraka, which, if you remember back in the days of Season 9, Olaf actually used to run the supportish with the Redemption, I believe, in his back pocket, and he would actually just self-heal himself throughout battles. So it's kind of interesting to see that now with ASU going, okay, we have the Olaf ready there to just run in and do some damage.
Yep. Yeah, and to even further your point about how the Redemption is just supposed to keep him alive, it's supposed to make him more durable, because Olaf functions best when he's in melee range, and when he's just auto-attacking as much as possible. He reduces the cooldown of his E, Reckless Swing, as well as just life steals because of his W active. But the fact that they throw the Soraka in there to say, hey, here's some durability. Now you can survive these team fights, and now you can just wreak havoc in there. I've actually been seeing a lot of Olafs just have heck of a game. This patch, or the previous patch in particular, it just seems like a fantastic champion. And I think when you're talking about Enigmatic going for all this dive, going into the backline, trying to take care of this Ezreal, this Orianna, first of all, that's great kiting already, Ezreal, Orianna. And second of all, that's exactly what Olaf wants, right? He's like, oh, come to me, let me give you a bear hug.
Yeah, another thing to also point out, he has actually a built-in QSS. Mordekaiser, if he ults Mordekaiser, it is actually going to cleanse it. So I'm super excited to see how that works. Getting into the last couple of seconds before we throw it over to commercial break, I do want to ask, with these team compositions coming out, who do you think is going to take the first game, ASU or Enigmatic? Excuse me.
Gosh, honestly, I'm a fan of throwing in the occasional weird, wacky pick, and I think ASU the Soraka makes a lot of sense. And as long as it does not get hard camped, that's the caveat. As long as it doesn't get hard camped, I have a lot of faith in ASU's composition. Actually, I like the Olaf, the Braum, Ezreal's a nice bot lane that scales marvelously into the mid game, and finally the Orianna. You just can't go wrong with the Orianna. It brings so much to the table. Everything is checking all the boxes that you want to see in a proper composition that will give ASU the tools to really display good League of Legends. So that's going to be my vote going into this matchup.
Oh, I can't agree with you more. This is going to be a very interesting match, but again, we do have to talk about one of our amazing sponsors, Kono. They have been so awesome to us, and just to give you a little bit of a rundown, if you are looking to take your game to the next level, it all starts with your peripherals. From keyboards to keycaps, mice, and more, our friends at Kono have got you covered. Kono works with the world's best designers, inventors, and makers to bring you some of the best gaming peripherals around. Kono have been huge supporters of us here at Upsurge and have made generous contributions to our prize pools. So if you need to find a new keyboard and more for your setup, we can't recommend anyone better than Kono. For more information, head over to kono.store to check out all they have to offer. That's KONO.store. Once again, please go check them out. But in the meantime, we will go straight to a commercial break just for a little bit until we get underway for game number 1 between ASUC and Enigmatic Esports. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the first game of the night between ASU and Enigmatic Gaming. On the blue side, we do have ASU C. We have Devmont on the Soraka top, Red XP in the jungle, Who's This Guy in the mid lane, Fu in the ADC role, and Yomihime in support.
Yep, absolutely.
Very
Hang
sorry,
on.
we are having some technical difficulties, so...
Minions have spawned.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. We are getting right back into it. But again, ASU on the blue side, as we had run down, a very interesting composition. But please tell us about the red side, if you will, Switch.
Yeah, absolutely. Enigmatic running in the top lane is going to be Blight on the Mordekaiser, Cyborg Goat on the Jarvan, Den Lee on the Akali, Shuno, and Nuffies in that spicy bot lane, the Misfortune and the Rumble. Talking about early games, I mean, it's a feast for the eyes for Cyborg Goat, to be honest. Jarvan would like to gank every single one of the lanes, if I'm being quite honest. You would love to snowball some of these solo laners like the Mordekaiser and like the Akali. When you look down to the bot lane, another fantastic early game. But more than anything, I think the Mordekaiser is really going to be where you can win out really hard. Soraka, if she falls behind in lane, she doesn't have any dueling potential to her. So you're going to have to swap her maybe into the mid or put her down the bot lane, do something else. Because if she hard loses to the Mordekaiser, that's going to be a gaping hole in the gold in the early game. So make sure you keep an eye on that lane.
Yeah, and already look at that damage coming out of Nuffies right now, laying down the poke with those harpoons coming out. Fu already having to burn his one potion and still only sitting at 5 CS. That has to feel bad.
That absolutely does. Ezreal already has a difficult time sort of skating through some of these early levels, especially before the great duo of Tear of the Goddess and Sheen. But right now it's getting even harder. Beautiful double ups landing all over the harpoons as well. And man, I might just try this out in my solo queue games. Rumble support just seems oppressive.
Technical warning, we do not condone the
That's
usage
right.
of randomly playing a champion after watching it happen in a match. We do not condone that.
That's absolutely right. That's just a Switch thing. Please do not try this at home.
And already, look at this bot lane of ASU. They're sitting at about 20% health for Yomihime, and Fu sitting about 50. So this is an already dangerous lane, and you can already see J4, Cyborg Goat, sitting on this bottom side, making sure in case a counter gank occurs. Very nice job on his part.
Yeah, you can see him just hovering over for the most part on the other side of the map, of course. Actually, both junglers just securing the skulls at the moment, and there's a ping towards the mid lane. Cyborg Goat is gonna try his hand.
Already pushed up. That's a 4-3 level disadvantage for Who's This Guy. So wisely playing a little bit safer on that line.
Yeah, I really like the mirroring of the positioning of the Akali. You could see Who This Guy on the Orianna really respecting for the most part. Devmont is taking quite a bit of damage. Once again, most of the strategy for Soraka top is just flat out kiting, right? You never actually want to get close to your enemy layer, much less meet him in the actual lane. You really just want to indirectly send him little love taps here and there and focus on farming.
Yeah, and here we go, actually. On this bottom side, we do see Red XP hoping to play it out, but again,
Nice
a ward
ward.
spots him out, so very nice rotation of the warding there. Shuno had dropped one earlier to combat the chance of an Olaf being there, and now it is Nuffy's turn, so I like the rotation and playing safe.
Yeah, and I think critical timing, to be honest, for the Rumble Misfortune lane. Really, you want to keep almost 100% uptime on your aggressiveness, right? You want to be always in your opponent's face. You want to be knocking down their health bars. And so losing momentum by dying to a gank can actually really set you far behind and take away a lot of the value that you could have gained from that laning phase. So good job staying safe for the bot lane of Enigmatic. Nice little disruption as well of that recall. As you can see, both the Ezreal and the Braum quite low and forced the back over here. Oh, it gets better.
And I did just want to point out right before that ward fell where Olaf is right now. Honestly, Enigmatic Gaming actually had a beautiful triangle of wardage setup. And so that's how they've been tracking Olaf through there. But right now
Oh,
the
here
vision
we
is down, so
go.
this is going to be the first gank of the game. Olaf does catch one throwing axe, and there they go. Nuffy's landed once again, and they flash forward. They know the kill is in range. One more axe catches, and there's the sun coming through. That's going to be the kill. Unfortunately, Braum takes the first one, so Nuffy steals it away. But that's still first blood and 400 extra gold. Very nice job by
really
ASU.
nice gank, and that's just persistence that you love to see coming out of your jungler. Red XP on the Olaf identified, hey, I swept out that ward earlier. They'll never expect the return gank coming in this early, and thus they did not. Misfortune ran into the Olaf, and unfortunately for Nuffies, didn't flash early enough, to be honest. That's the only real critical mistake that you can really point out from there. But aside from that, it was played as well as you could hope. Nice first blood, and this is some good momentum starting off already for ASU.
Yeah, and it was a good attempt, but here we go. Nice damage going on to who's this guy? Denley saying, hello, I am still a Collie. And
yeah.
nice little tag, but Cyborg Goat does get tagged with the concussive blows and just flag and drags his way back out. Feels okay, but again, a nice little early fight, and ooh, good damage coming out.
Sabotage. He has no flag and drag, by the way. Oh, Jesus.
That was unfortunate. No one else saw that. No one saw that.
Suboptimal, one would say.
But that is going to stop a lot of what he was probably hoping to do. He does have to chug both of his refillable pot charges. So he's going to be up to full health. But still, taking half damage just for clearing out a ward is not exactly the way you want to go for that.
Yeah, absolutely not. And you can already feel the pressure being exerted from the side of ASU. They are active around the map and trying to make plays across the board. Just a wrap up, or rather an update on the CS numbers right now. Looking more or less even across the board. A bit of a deficit for the top lane. That Soraka is being pushed to tower constantly, so you're seeing some of those minions get denied away from her. Mid lane as well, another deficit for ASU as the Orianna is sort of being controlled in terms of the lane, so got to keep an eye on that for the most part. They're going blow for blow, and I think that lane could blow up at any moment.
Yep. That is very true. A lot of these lanes are very volatile, especially for Enigmatic Gaming. They have the ultimates, they have the power to lock down whoever they want. And honestly, if we were to see anything, I would still see focus in the bottom lane with that equalizer catching out a Braum pretty easily. No summoners on that bottom side. It is fresh pickings for a wombo combo.
It absolutely is. And we're just seeing a lot of patience right now from both junglers. As you can see, red smites secured for both. Obviously, Olaf going for the attack damage jungle item, as opposed to Cyborg more going for that HP jungle item. Devmont once again getting pulled in. It's punishing stuff, but he will not be deterred. He still has insane regen.
It's also kind of interesting to say, earlier we actually watching, I think about 8 minutes or so, we watched Devmont actually miss quite a bit of CS, so if he had not missed that, he would actually, I believe currently, be up about 7 to 10 CS in this lane, if he were able to catch it. So that is an unfortunate error, I feel, and possibly lost gains in the top lane, showing a little bit of cracks and maybe not as much practice as he might have hoped on this top side.
Agreed. You know, Orbital, that top lane, I mean, I don't blame the Mordekaiser for dropping farm. It's like every time he walks up for minions, you know when you're like trying to teach your cat, and so you get like a spray bottle full of water, so whenever he does something bad, you just like spray him a little. You're like, ha, take that. This is taking a mental toll on Blight, if I had to guess. Like, he's growing some anxiety every time he walks up to the wave, but that does not stop him from a 1v1 potential. There's the ultimate going down.
Yeah, it is. Here's Red XP also there.
Oh, no.
Oh, they say he can't, and Blight doesn't feel happy about this. Shockwave does miss, as it is going to be the flash out, and Ragnarok has been popped as well. They're just going to chase it all the way down. He doesn't have the shield, and that is going to be Red XP claiming that kill for himself.
Yeah, beautiful job of ASU really capitalizing on the aggression coming out from the Mordekaiser. The stun not landing down here in the bot lane quite yet, and that's once again the poke coming out from the bot lane. Misfortune and Rumble with the range advantage. Rift Herald actually started. Den Lee is on the case, but I don't know what he can do about it.
He does have the perfect execution. There he goes. He does drop the ignite, and he jumps in as well. But the witch comes down as well, and that's going to be a one kill in.
No way.
It's going to be the dragon also going down, and Denley is on the run, chasing, losing his way. But again, he did get the kill, stopped the Red Herald, and his team did get dragon. So he is very happy, but Shuno on this bottom lane does get stunned up. Heal went out as well, and he does have flash, but I don't know if he wants to. True Shot Barrage does go out, and oh! He does go down with flash up. I'm not sure if he meant to do that, but he did have flash. He could have saved himself.
Yeah, gotta pick a side eventually for the misfortune, but stayed right down the middle, could not dodge it out. Devmont taking a big heap and helping no damage, but let's talk about that play coming out from Denley, because I think you're absolutely right, Orbital. He sort of got the best of a bad situation there. Stopped the Rift Herald and got a 1-for-1, which I actually kind of prefer, getting kills into the pocket of the Akali, because you know that this is a champion that needs gold, that needs to stay ahead of the gold curve average to everyone else. So I kind of like the play overall. I think Denley, good job saving his team a potentially destroyed tower.
Yeah, and there's always, you know, you always see it, right? Whenever you're playing against assassins, you always know that for them, a 1v1 trade is always more profitable for them than it is for, say, a mage to trade 1v1. It always feels like assassins always profit more. So again, trading his life, the kill, I believe, went over to Orianna. So, but still, Denley now has the pressure in that mid lane. Again, kill priority. He's going to be very happy picking that one up. Nuffies, though, caught out a little bit. He does have flash. Caught by an axe. Concussive blows doesn't land. Has to flash away. There he goes. Another axe lands. That's still going to be under tower. So a nice little run-in as Red XP just kind of flexing his muscles right now. But here we go. Cyborg Go does drop Cataclysm. And there it is. Wombo combo there. Red XP is able to flash out as well. But now everyone's on the wrong side of the map. And Denley jumps right back out. Who's this guy has used the stopwatch as well, and this is now a chase away. Nuffies, he was just caught. He is now caught once again, and Boo picks that one up.
Yeah, very nice stuff coming out from ASU. You can see they are very persistent in controlling this Rift Herald. Attempted it once, didn't get it. This time around, they do deserve it after getting that kill onto Nuffies. And you're seeing a small flaw, a small weakness in the support Rumble. It's really not the safest when you're talking about controlling vision. It has no hard escapes. It's got no real durability to it. The closest thing you have is the W, which gives you, honestly, a bit of charity in terms of the shield and the movement speed. It's nothing massive, no steroids there, and it does end up getting him killed. So nice play, ASU. They seem to be as proactive as ever.
And Rumble really does seem just like any other, you know, aggressive bot lane mage, right? We've seen the Brand, we've seen the Zyra. They have kits to allow them to harass in lane, but as soon as you get them outside of lane, they tend to be easy pickings there. Not only that, it definitely feels like ASU is playing to their own tempo, right? Yeah. Whenever we see Enigmatic make a move, they're ready and waiting with the counter attack. They just seem willing to let Enigmatic make the first move and then just punish them under any wave under tower or through the jungle corridors, which I think is a really nice game plan when you're trying to chase down these kind of free targets, if you will.
Absolutely, and I suspect some of this great reaction is coming out from the fact that they are already coordinating some of these moves. Now, speaking of coordination, right now we're seeing a lot of resources dumped into the bot lane from the side of Enigmatic Gaming. They are trying to take advantage of this solo lane Soraka right now. Got swapped over to the bot lane so that ASU could put their duo into the top. We'll see if that pays off for either team right now. As a bit of a bait going down.
Yep, but Ring of Death is open as well, so he might just steal it. There it is, and he does grab it to Yomi Hime. That is what you don't want to do against the Mordekaiser. The stuns and slows are out though, so the Ring of Death does go down, but not before he falls. So Blight now has to run. He doesn't have the extra health and damage coming out whenever you kill a target within the Ring of Death, so he is going to get away safely though with the shield.
Well, Orbital, that was an oversight. Completely forgot that Mordekaiser has, you know, an ultimate where he secures a 1v1 or something like that. Yeah, it turns out it kind of matters. So, well played from Blight for pressing his R button and just doing what Mordekaiser's do. More of a question than anything, but I mean, ASU, they're still in the lead, and they certainly do have a shot at really controlling some of these bigger objectives. You can already see the focus play coming through. Shelly dropped down into the bot lane, collides with that bot lane tier 1, but the reactions are swiftly coming out.
Yes, they are, but that was right on top of the silence, so Cyborg is only able to get the
From the back
Cataclysm down before he dies. Meanwhile, on the backside, we do see a split fight down. Goes Red XP to Shuno. Here we go, a nice little stun there, as in the backline, Denli tried his best, but also goes down. That is a 2 for 2 across the board, but first tower to ASU.
Yeah, even trade. Aside from that tower, you're absolutely right. First brick gold is still worth a lot here in Season 10, as well as dragons, which is a great transition into the Infernal Drake that is just about to be secured for the side of ASU. No smite, no problem, but this Mordekaiser could post to be one. Let's get into it.
He might have bitten off a little bit more than he could chew. Has to flash away. He is running for his life right now, and without that Ring of Death, I don't think he's going to get any closer. We do see the Rylai's Crystal Scepter already built, so the slowing field will do quite a bit. However, he is still very squishy and very susceptible to the concussive blows.
Yeah, that is, of course, once again, another successful push coming through for the side of ASU. They take advantage of the fact that they shoved the Mordekaiser out of Summoner's Rift. This is fine with the reactions coming down from Enigmatic Gaming, but not without taking 50% of their mid tower's HP. Well played overall from ASU. They're so good at it, identifying these small opportunities, just instantly making the call, pulling the trigger, and just going for it. And that is what has given them already this 2,000 gold lead here in the early game.
And now we're also seeing Fu with this 3-0-1 lead. Ezreal, a champion that just recently got buffed a little bit. I believe he got a mana increase as well as an attack speed increase. But here we go on the top side, as you said before, Devmont not really having much. Cataclysm automatically used as well. Look at him dance around, actually. He's surviving for quite some time. Blight was not able to make it in, and as such, Ring of Death goes down. Here we go, coming all the way in. The fight is bound. This time is caught between a rock and a hard place. He's gonna go down. Who's this guy though? Has flash? He has to flash away. And there's the ultimate under the tower. He just whipped the ultimate. Unfortunately, that is Denli going amazingly under the tower. And now ASU are on the run. A beautiful outplay by Denli under the tower to secure that kill.
And massive playmaking coming out from Denli on the Akali. What a beautiful 1v1. Seamless stuff coming out from him. And all off of the back of a very strange setup. ASU, they reacted quickly, but not quite enough to be able to take a positive trade. This has sort of evened out the game in terms of kills, 7-7. But man, does Denli look like a problem in the making for ASU.
Not only that, I'm not sure if he did or not, but I did not hear the wish go off for Devmont.
Right.
And that kind of worries me because he was going down already. And this is a weird interaction. I think wish actually goes all the way outside Ring of Death as well. And that's what I'm curious about. If he were to wish inside of Ring of Death, would it still help his allies? Either way, I feel it could have kept him alive long enough to try and have his team there. And it just wasn't used at that point. So maybe a little oversight, but once again, beautiful job. It was a 3-0 in the kill area for Enigmatic Gaming, exactly what they needed to get back into this game.
Yeah, it just goes to show it. One slip up can give Enigmatic a way back in, and that's exactly what's come out. Another engage from Denli. Shockwave doesn't even matter, as that's the execution coming out after the fact. Man, this guy's good at Akali. I mean, I could have sworn he was completely controlled in the early game.
I mean, nerfed, by the way.
Yeah, right. That's also something worth mentioning, yeah.
But again, a very nice job, and this is something that a lot of players do understand, is when you have the lead, understand when you have to push the tempo. Denli didn't even give it a second thought, knew that the flash was down, and knew that there are no defensive summoners up, so why not go for the kill?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And to make matters worse, it's the entirety of Enigmatic Gaming really finding their opportunities. Now Cataclysm goes down. Here we go.
Yeah, bullet time lands on everyone, but there we go. Yomihime pulled into the Ring of Death as Wish comes out, and it does go through. Yomihime actually is able to stay alive for quite some time. Flashes over the wall. He survived. The Soraka top pulled it off, and they only lose one. And we were wondering if it worked, and Wish does go through Ring of Death. That is the dumbest thing I think I've seen, but I love it so much. I'm sorry.
For all the action that happened in that team fight, nothing actually happened. That's the thing. I mean, it looked cool.
we watched Red XP's health go from 25% to 100%. I hope you saw that, because
Yeah.
he was down very low. But again, with Ragnarok, you get increased healing anytime you're in there, and that is a level 2 Ragnarok coming in as well as a level 2 Wish. So massive healing boost, and we're starting to see where the compositions really come together.
Yeah, this is certainly what ASU intended when they lock in that Soraka top lane, the unkillable Olaf in the top lane, or in the jungle rather.
Oh.
Beautiful shockwave to start this one up. Here's Olaf in the back.
Yeah, it is, but he's down as well, so Shuno picks up that kill. Equalizer goes down as well.
Oh, beautiful.
Now getting chunked out a little bit, has to flash away
Dan
as
Lee.
well, and everyone's just kind of scattering straight to the win. One kill over to Enigmatic Gaming, and ASU is just going to start the Dragon. Teleport coming in right now as Blight has gone back, recalled, and come back with a little bit more damage. And now Dragon has started up. This would be second Dragon for whoever can take it. Blight, though, going quite low. He doesn't have the ultimate available right now, does have flash. And everyone's
So
getting
low.
poked out. Look at that damage coming out from the 3-0-1 Ezreal. He is doing work to hold off for his team. Everyone on the side of Enigmatic is very low. There comes Bullet Time trying to get it out, and the smite goes down as well. Deadly goes in. He goes into the shot. He says, help me. Cataclysm goes down as well, and everyone is dancing the fight. Who's this guy? Picks up one. He's going to pay with his life as well. That's going to be a 1-for-1 overall so far, and the Dragon also goes down, so that is 2 Dragons locked in for Enigmatic Gaming.
Enigmatic game. I mean, if any of the viewers have really paid attention to this game, this turned on a dime. I mean, this was all going in favor of ASU in the very early game. 15 minutes, up to 15 minutes. It was all ASU. It's like, oh, they're so smart. They're so clean. They're reacting to everything. Right after that top lane skirmish that started out with the Mordekaiser versus Soraka in the Death Realm, it just all went in favor of the side of Enigmatic Gaming. They even secured the second Dragon now, so we're getting into dangerous territory where they're starting to win these team fights. They're starting to stack up Dragons, and this Soraka top doesn't seem to be the fix-all to all these leaks being in the ship that is ASU.
I can definitely see that. And I just want to kind of point out that I feel it's because some of the players are not running together, right? Something I really like to talk about is baseball. We do usually see, the pitcher and the catcher are known as a battery. They're known as the driving force, and it's a duo that you really want to work with. In this situation, it's Devmont and Red XP that have to always be together, kind of tied at the hip at that point. And in that last fight, we saw Red XP kind of rush straight to the back line, right? Soraka was nowhere to be seen, and that is not the right way to play that fight. We're looking at Devmont to just kind of sit behind Red XP and just kind of be in other words, just a battery healing pack.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think some of these flankers could actually be the real difference makers for the side of Enigmatic Gaming. If you get the right person into the Death Realm with Mordekaiser, if you pull off, like we just saw in that last team fight, beautiful sort of backline dive coming out from Den Lee. He just attracted so much attention. He bought so much time. It was almost like there was like a Lysandre in the backline stasis for 4 seconds, but it was really just Den Lee hanging around his shroud. And here we go again. I've seen this before. And deleted as well.
Den Lee just takes that, but might pay with his life. Ragnarok is also down, and Yomi Hime is trying to block all he can, but Cyborg Goat there to save his mid laner. Here we go. They do go in, and here we go. Bullet time once again. Flash out, and that is the ultimates being burned for a flash. They will definitely take that after taking a kill as well. So Denley putting in the moves on anyone he spots.
We're like smelling a Caliban coming through very soon, dude. I don't know. This is suspect. This guy is way too clean on the Akali. I mean, more than anything, it seems like he just understands the damage really well. He knows what he can do and what he can't do for the most part. Like we talked about in the team fight, he was just hanging around the back line just long enough for the rest of his team to win the fight. This time around, he secures a 1v1 that he knows he can win. He knows he has enough damage to work with. And he's becoming almost a split push menace. You have to watch your lane assignments if you're the side of ASU, because you could just end up losing your AD carry right before a big team fight.
It really is. I'm waiting to see if we do see a GA being built on Ezreal, because if the GA is built and then the Zanya is built on Who's This Guy, if you actually look at the other people that are available, Devmont already built the adaptive helm, so he's already getting tanky. Olaf will be getting healed from every direction. So at that point, it'll be interesting if ASU can actually hold out to that breaking point. If they're able to,
Right.
there is a possibility, right, that they don't get deleted as soon as they see a Kali on the map.
Right. I think it all really matters how tanky the Soraka can be in. What's the positioning of Devmont as well in regards to the rest of his team? Like you said, he sort of has to be in range of red XP on the Olaf to really give a lot of value to that Olaf. So I think more than anything, the death ball wow, that was a nice
Oh,
steal. Okay. Little intermission as that was a beautiful steal coming out from Cyborg
that's
Ghost.
mean. That's
That's
mean.
that's cyberbullying. Yeah, that's not good. I'm calling the police. No, death ball is definitely the best move for ASU. It's just a matter of if they can secure it or if there's too many things flying at them, like the Akali, like the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, but we do have these third dragon potentially for Enigmatic Gaming coming up. Another Ocean, as Ocean is going to be the soul coming up. And honestly, the soul of the Ocean Drake would actually benefit either team extremely well. Having that healing no matter what, even in combat, every 5 seconds getting mana and health back, and already having the health regen coming out, that is massive. And if ASU is able to take that all of a sudden, even without Akali, but we don't even have to talk about it right now as we do see the teleport coming in. Glacial Vision does go down. Dragon taken down to about 2,000 HP. Who's going to get it? There it is! It is stolen away by blue team, but bullet time is coming out of everywhere, and everyone's dancing in the back line. Ring of Death is on the back as well to the Orianna. She has to take it into the Death Realm and is going to pay with her life, but they did steal the Dragon, so that is going to be 2 dragons to 2, but they lose 3 for it.
I mean, massively successful from Enigmatic. The control of the River Vision, the zoning from Den Lee, and finally the Smite Steal coming through for the side of ASU, but it wasn't enough to secure a winning team fight as Enigmatic, they still show they have the wombo combo to really prop up any team fight. Now over to the Baron. This is a massive threat that ASU has to respond to.
Now we did see Fu pull off a lot of damage, and we actually see Cyborg being pushed out. So if we start seeing some mixes, Finley actually got chunked pretty heavily, and there's a heal coming out as well. But flash over the wall as Fu is being kept alive just barely, but no, Nuffies burns him down. They have peeled off of the Baron right now, so that is kind of, I think, what they were hoping for. And there it is! He picks up the kill! The Soraka top has come to take a kill.
Finally, the bloodthirsty supports make their way over to the top lane, and this is what I want. This is peak League of Legends Orbital, all right? Great stall coming out from ASU. This is exactly what they need to do, and they pulled it off. I will say, though, I'm really worried, to be honest. I mean, Enigmatic, everything's going in their favor. Den Lee, he's still blowing up people left and right in spite of the Soraka healing. Because he got some of those things like the Morello Nomicon, we might even see a bit of Grievous Wounds come on to Shuno. But that, combined with the fact that, hey, Nuffies was the one to secure that dive kill. And by the way, he's a support Rumble. Like, he's a support, but he's like literally the secondary diver. That's a worrying trend if I'm anyone on the side of ASU. And once again, you're asking the world from the Soraka pick, and I don't know if it's all going to deliver.
I mean, we are starting to see that's either a Lichbane or a Spooky Ghost Twin Shadows coming out from him for that third item. But the Athene's and Holy Girl has been built, so I mean, Devmont is healing quite a bit, and honestly, that's all you could hope for from Soraka right now. Yeah. You said not being able to bring out the peak performance, and I do agree, as we are looking down the death counters here, Soraka sitting at 1 and 2, and Olaf sitting at 1 and 4, so the battery that ASU are relying on is definitely not living up to terms. However, on the other side, we do see Cyborg sitting at 0, 2, and 10, and a lot of their carries happily sitting with gold bounties on their head.
Yeah, I think really step one for the side of ASU is really gaining back a lot of this vision control, which is a slow and a steady game. But at the very least, you have a support that's really versatile. The Braum has great durability. It has great mobility as well, actually, because you know his W actually has a relatively short cooldown. So I'd love to see them just put more focus there. The only problem is, of course, Enigmatic, they know exactly what to do. They're flexing their muscles. They're taking care of some of these pink wards. And they are never really going to give up Baron vision unless a split push threat arises for ASU. But, I mean, that doesn't exist because LOL Soraka top.
Yeah, this might be a little bit of an issue as Devmont takes quite a bit of damage. Leandrews and Rylai's combined doing about, I think, 3% of your max health every second you're in the burn. Yeah. Nice hop out from Yomihime. trying to stay alive, trying to clear out some wards as well. But that is a lot of damage coming out.
And to follow up on the whole burn thing, I think it's a fantastic buy, the Adaptive Helm for Devmont, because it blocks both the burn coming out from Liangis as well as all that rumble damage that you're inevitably going to run into in team fights. But once again, it's still a difficult position to be in. Once you drop below 30% HP, those Morellonomicons are going to apply Grievous Wounds onto you. 2 available right now for the lineup of Enigmatic Gaming on both the Akali and the Rumble to make sure Grievous Wounds eventually land onto their opponents. Just a bit of a revision, by the way. I feel like Devmont might go for the Ardent Sensor. I could be wrong, though, but it sounds like a pretty good buy, and it does build off of the Aether Wisp, I believe.
Yes, I did forget about that, and that I'm pretty sure someone called me out in the chat probably, but yes, it is very, very true. That is, I would have to agree with you. That is probably the item that they're going for. Twin Shadows and Lich Bane make absolutely 0 sense. So, but yes, another healing item coming out and just able to sustain even more. And you know, all of a sudden, your W heal coming out of Soraka does just as much as Wish. So excited to see what happens. But here we go, a little bit of fight as Blight is taken into a little bit of fight. Already caught multiple times, and that is just enough. I'm not sure if the shockwave was necessary, but they do collect that kill. Shove down that bounty. So,
I mean, Orbital, the great part is he didn't even get to put anyone into the Death Realm. That's how little time he had. So Shockwave did find value somewhere. Now the Ocean Drake started, and a 5v4 is not what Enigmatic want to choose for themselves. They go over back to the mid lane, and that is another successful take. One step closer to that Drake soul for the side of ASU.
And I have to say that was much cleaner, and with that kill, they still have 20 seconds to work with. They might just go straight for the Baron here, or at least clear out some vision. This would be a little bit dangerous because Blight does have his teleport available. This could easily turn into a 5v5 fight with the magic debuff on the Baron. They are going for it.
Sometimes you really just got to pull the trigger, and that's what's happening right now. Equalizer, as well as the Cataclysm available. The Wombo combo is there, but is it going to land?
Yeah, there it is. Ragnarok has been made, and again, he goes all the way in the backline, but he gets cut down. Red XP is going to go down. Meanwhile, Cyborg goes as well.
There we
go. Nice fight in the backline. Deadly takes one out as well. Double kill for him. There it is. The Death Realm on Yomihime. He is going to be sacrificed as well. Flashes over the wall, but that's not going to be enough. As Deadly says, hello. Nope, Blight takes it out with a smash of his hammer, or mallet, if you will. Not exactly sure what to call that, but again, we were talking about it before, and another split fight causes ASU to lose 3 and take 0.
Yeah, the durability just not there right now for Red XP. I mean, deleted almost instantly. The Wish came through towards the end of that, but the Grievous Wounds already applied. And even though Soraka is doing work right now, it's just not enough to keep up with the DPS running through the side of Enigmatic Gaming. Onto the mid inhibitor tower, cracked open. And before the inhibitor goes down, they are going to retreat, take a tactical reset. But man, what a great team fight coming through for themselves. That's just for the farm, by the way. That's really a low cooldown.
At this point, the Morellonomicon has been finished. I do believe he is sitting on about 1,500, so I think he can finish up. No, I believe it's 1,600 to finish up Leandri's with the components that he currently has.
Yeah.
So he is just going to go back and buy the Blasting Wand, but it's so crazy to think about it. They're starting it up again here.
Sometimes you got to learn from your mistakes, Orbital. Yeah. It's great peace of mind as well from the side of Enigmatic to stick around, and this is not the engage you're looking for.
I mean, they are, and they jump right into the damage as bullet time and the ring go everywhere. Cataclysm in the backline as well. And look at the health bars of ASU just get deleted off of the map. They chose this fight. They said it's what we want, and they have gotten punished so heavily as Red XP takes his 6th death of the game, and Yomihime with his 5th. That was a head scratcher.
Yeah, that's unfortunate miscalculations. I assume they thought, oh, some people must have reset, so maybe we're taking an optimal trade here. But by the time they had ended up committing to it, most of the side of Enigmatic Gaming had arrived to the party. And a party it was indeed, as 2-0 for Enigmatic. Great pushback. And it just goes to show that, hey, even with decisiveness, which, by the way, you love to see out of teams here in UML, you love to see decisiveness, it still has to be the right call at the end of the day. Making a pick onto a tank like a Mordekaiser that can end up going into the Death Realm, It was a beautiful play that happened, beautiful reactions coming out from Enigmatic Gaming, and you're just running out of options right now for the side of ASU. They had a great early game, but it hasn't transitioned into a great mid and late game.
I have to agree. I will say the good turning point for that last fight was actually we did see Red XP and Devmont trying to stick together. That is what they need to do to continuously help. But Yomi Hime now
whoa, that missed.
misses the Glacial Fissure as well. And
I mean,
Denley
small
collects
detail.
his 10th kill of the game so far.
Yeah, and conversely, the 6th death of the game for Yomi Hime. It's unfortunately been a tough one, being the support of a currently losing team. Baron down to half, and the reactions are just not there for the side of ASU.
Yeah, I mean, they need a frontal assault, but without that Braum, without that shield and Glacial Fissure, they really can't do much. That was a close, very close attempt at a take right there.
That was gave me anxiety, but that is going to be the secure coming out from Enigmatic Gaming, rightfully theirs, and this next dragon in their eyes as well. This will prevent ASU, of course, from getting that 4th Drake, crucially, the Ocean Drake Soul. But if you get a big clutch steal coming through for Red XP, that could actually change the shape of this game, because Ocean Drake Soul, one of the strongest by far. I think it's so oppressive when every time you deal damage, you're getting that extra regen, which, by the way, is probably the best thing you can get for the Soraka pick. So this Drake steal is deceptively really important right now for the side of ASU.
Yeah, and not only that, you know, you're always trying to contest that 4th dragon attempt.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, this might go to a 7th dragon, which would be insane to see.
I still want to see it, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Let's be honest.
You see both teams posturing around. We see Denley sneaking along the side, possibly looking for a flank, which honestly has done amazingly well. Was sitting at 3.5 items, going towards our Rabadons as well. There it is. They jump all the way to the backline. Who's this guy has been found inside the bullet time? Goes Golden. That might be enough as they jump in the backline. Deadly taking extremely low. This might be what they want, as look at Red XP in the backline. He does collect 1 for 1 so far, but who's this guy is also going to go down. They collected 2 for 2 so far in the fight. Look at Blight. He is getting chunked very heavily. They might be able to survive. Look at Devmont. The healing, the shielding. They get so much, and Fu is still full health. Look at that. They win it in a 3 for 2 slogfest of a fight. He flashes over. Devon says, we're not done yet. You chase me, I chase you. They get the shutdown onto Nuffies, and they will take the 4th dragon. Potentially, as we do see Cyborg still available. He's sneaking around the side. This could be very, very dangerous. I don't know if they want to go for this right now. They need to kill Cyborg if they want to clean this up nicely. Yomi Hime on the chase. They're getting the heals, they're getting the shields, and yes, they jump over the side. They say, okay, we're not going to take any chances. We're just going to kill you and say, no, thank you. That is a ace, a very delayed ace, but they get it. ASU, from what looked to be despair, bring it back in the 11th hour.
And Orbital. I was looking at. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, though. The heals coming out from Devmont, and just the tenacity from Fu as well on the Ezreal. So much HP. Just, it's like a rubber band, you know? It drops down real low, then it comes back up in waves, basically. And you didn't see that crucial backline carry ever die for the side of ASU. They rode the waves back into their momentum. And this Drake Soul is exactly what the doctor ordered for the side of ASU. This is rejuvenation in the lineup.
And we were definitely worried about this before as well, because, you know, we talked about it. Devmont, Red XP. If they're together, that battery is deceptively strong. The heals coming out, the shielding as well. The wish is deceptive at low health. Not only that, as soon as we saw some MR come out, we saw the Zanyas come out of who's this guy. He is not as squishy as you think anymore. We see the Maw Malmortius already done on Fu as well. So he is strong as well. These guys now have the tank capacities to keep Denley at bay, who at this point only has a Morellonomicon. It doesn't give enough MR shred to really cut through a lot of this health and safety on the side of ASU.
It still really all comes down to, is the kiting there for ASU? Can they weather the storm that is all of that burst coming out within a matter of seconds? Because if they can, you can bet they can outlast their opponents. But here comes the engage.
Yes, it is, and that's the fight that they wanted. Devmon is able to get the wish off, is staying alive just barely, but Blight flashes
He's
forward,
still
trying to get the kill
alive.
in the backline. Red XP does go down. Who's this guy? Says hello. I'm gonna try and help. Shockwave is down, but there they go. Look at the two carries though. The health bars are bleeding on the side of Enigmatic Gaming, and Blight now caught out in the backline. Goes golden as well, but look at his damage. His damage is not there, and Fu, the monster, is saying hello. I will take what I can get, even though it was a 3 for 2. Carries are still up. That means they can push.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, weathering the storm for both of those backline carries right now. ASU, that is their lifeline, but waiting in the wings is Cyborg. Going with the idea of an engage. No Cataclysm available. He's got the flash.
Yeah, got the flash, but doesn't really want to hammer anything too much. Remember, this is a tank J4, so not really having the burst damage that we sometimes see. He is going to sustain, has that Warmogs. But hey, look at Soraka's items. You know, we said it might be stupid to have Twin Shadows. That is the 4th item that they have picked up. We do see the Ardent Sensor as well as the Redemption now picked up. So full build for Devmon right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You were just a prophet, Orbital. You know, I was playing checkers. You were playing 3D chess over there. You were like, nah, he's going to get it. It's going to come in. The Spooky Ghosts, they do end up coming
Don't give me
out.
too much credit, okay? I would like to take it, but don't give me too much. But I do like this potential now because not only is this a great disengage, this is a great engager as well. They've had issues with Blight charging the backline as well as Denli. Spooky Ghost, as you know, does target the closest enemies at that current time period. So if Denli's off on the side, they will know it before the fight breaks out. So I think it's a very solid pickup to snuff out Denli, who honestly just now got the Void Staff, had to forego the Rabadon. So now his damage is a little bit more back.
And this is certainly playing off of what was the sentiment when Riot nerfed Akali this time around. They wanted to get rid of some of that free mobility that she gets. You know, she didn't have to target a champion. She could just do this massive dash into the enemy backline without, you know, needing some sort of segue, some sort of route in. It was just way too flexible. And now that combined, the nerf, of course, combined with the fact that Spooky Ghosts on Summoner's Rift, it really will make it much more difficult for Denli to get into the backline. And that's unfortunately where he needs to be. Now, honestly, this is unfortunate because that slow is coming down for the Mordekaiser, but there is the kiting, of course, coming out. One quick thing I want to mention, another possible pickup, which I wouldn't mind seeing for Devmon, was, of course, the, I believe, it's not Aegis, but it is called, I don't remember.
Words escape us a lot of the time.
They do, especially me. They just juke the heck out of me. I don't understand. The evolved form of Aegis, if Aegis was a Pokemon, I would love to see that in the hands of Devmon.
Are you talking about Mikhail's?
No, that's certainly not it, sir. That's Solari, Iron
Hey,
Solari. Locket of the. There you go.
Wow, we went around 4 floors with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying tuned with us here.
Oh, yes, and now you're getting to the good part as Devmon is now being caught up by the 2 carries. Is able to flash away. Redemption is good enough. Does get deleted. Denli says, now I can fight with that Void Staff in pocket, but we do see Baron being started up here. This is a dangerous route.
That is the gamble being picked right now for ASU. They need to find a way out and engaging on a 3 for 4.
Yep, there it is. The fight has broken up, but remember, they don't have their battery pack. Red XP is burning down right now. They don't have the heals. They don't have the will to fight. They don't have the damage, but look at Fu in the backline. He is a monster. He is dancing his way to victory, one would hope. He is burning out as well, but he does go down. The Ignite takes him, and without the Soraka heals, they fall in battle 5 for 1. And it looks like Enigmatic are going to push for the win.
Massive death timers. ASU battled their hearts out, lost their Soraka in the split push, still tried to go for a high-risk, high-reward play. Did not end up panning out in their favor. And hard fought is really all you can say about this first game one. Devmon is trying to make it even harder fought, but, well, top lane Soraka, you don't really pick it for the damage, to be honest.
he got his 6th kill, which is...
That's true.
He did get his 6th kill, but that is going to be the Nexus going down 32-19 without 4 dragons. That is going to be Enigmatic taking game number 1.
And quite the kicker of a game coming out. This is
Hmm.
UML, but no shortness on excitement here in this game. Well, I really want to get into that final macro decision coming out for
Hmm.
the side of ASU because they said, okay, two people from Enigmatic Gaming went down to the bot lane. They took out our Soraka. Sure. That means it's a 4v3 up here. What they didn't account for, though, was the teleport available for Blight, or even if they did account it, it was kind of the best of a worst situation. The only problem was the execution of the team fight wasn't quite there. Maybe they should have been more patient. Maybe they should have stuck
Hmm.
around with the Baron. Maybe a different approach. Who knows? Either way, it was their best shot. It didn't quite land in the right spot, but quite honestly, it was still well played from both sides. That's why it was going neck and neck for the majority of that game.
I mean, yeah, looking down the line, it is crazy. And I mean, if you want to look at someone that has put in a lot of work in that fight while still looking a little bit overshadowed was Fu. Taking a look at the damage charts right there, we are seeing him
Holy!
topple everyone else, sitting at 51.5k damage. The next leading highest was Mordekaiser at 32.2. Sorry, that is actually a Kali at 32.4. So, I mean, we were talking about it and we saw it. Fu was putting on a clinic, but
Yeah.
just that last decision to take the Soraka, take a fight without Soraka, I feel was their downfall. Taking that chance of saying, okay, listen, there are points where you need to go aggressive, but there are also points where you have to scale back. Say, okay,
Certainly.
take a breather. We don't have the main component of our team comp. Don't try and engage. But unfortunately, they did lose out. So what do you think? I want to ask this because it's always interesting to see people's thoughts. Is what do you think ASU need to do to change for game number 2? Do they need to change compositions, or is it just like a mentality and strategy shift?
Honestly, there's a lot of different directions you could go for
Hmm.
ASU. One thing is for certain, though, you got to keep what's working set for you here coming into this next game. So one thing for sure, I would love to see Fu on another backline carry, someone with maybe critical strike that could really take control of a team fight. You're gonna want to give him resources as well. So whether it's Yomihime or whether it's another wacky enchanter solo laner, you're still going to want to give Fu a lot of resources because he has shown that he can carry when given the opportunities. Another thing is for certain in my eyes, take away the Akali because that was like half of Enigmatic Gaming's early game, to be honest, and that's how they got really back into the game. So I want to see those two big changes hopefully coming through in the next pick and ban.
All right, well, we'll have to see if it comes to fruition because we did get a seesaw game with an Enigmatic taking game number 1. Well, you'll have to stick around to see if ASU can take it back, take it to a game number 3, or if Enigmatic are going to sweep this series. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 between Enigmatic Gaming and ASUC. We did see a back and forth and seesaw game, which actually saw ASU take 4 dragons to 2, but not being able to close it out to the power of Enigmatic. So we'll have to see if they can do it in game number 2 here and really push it into a game number 3. You had talked a little bit previously, Switch, about what they need to change up, and I mean, looking at it here, there's potential for it, right?
There absolutely is, Orbital. There's always potential to take back the series, especially when it was as neck and neck as
Mhm.
that game one. I mean, I mentioned it earlier in the cast, but ASU had a great early game. They were just coordinated, they were reacting quickly, but honestly, Enigmatic, they just came and turned the game on a dime around that 20-minute mark. Made a big successful play around that top lane, and from there it was just win after win after win. They had a big dive team comp that finally came online in the mid game and absolutely smashed some of those team fights.
Definitely. And I also, kind of want to point out the whole, we were talking about it with ASU being very reactive in certain situations. That's how we saw them get ahead a little bit in the early game and then also come back later on as well, right? Being reactive and playing a little bit further back.
All
I
right.
think one of their most prominent team fights was actually where they were getting collapsed on during the dragon fight, and they actually fought their way back. Allowed the side of Enigmatic to really wash over them and just slowly pick them off.
Yep.
Um, and and that was also the issue, I feel, because when you play so reactive, there are situations where you just can't react to, such as that last one where Enigmatic picked off the Soraka on the bottom side, and they called the shot to try and get that top lane. So it was a little bit difficult, but I do wish to see them try to be a little bit more proactive. But we are getting into pick and ban here. Enigmatic on the blue side, ASUC on the red side, and we do see Senna being hovered once again.
Yeah, that's almost certainly going to be taken off the table. Was banned last game this time around. Also not going to see the light of day. Stay in the lantern as Senna gets taken away. The Akali as well. Ah, I see what's happening here, Orbital. This is a adaptation, as they say.
This is a very needed adaptation, I feel.
Yes.
With that was Denley going, I think it was 14-3 in about 7, I believe, in that last game. So a massive check right there for him and his in the bank in terms of in-game, and really powerhoused it through. We do see Enigmatic again just going down the ban list. I believe these are the exact same 2 so far that they banned out in game number 1 as well.
Well, it certainly does pose a lot of questions for me, to be honest. I mean, I'd love to see ASU pick another composition that can thrive in the early game, because I thought they had great coordination, like I mentioned earlier. And here's the big question. Hey, if Enigmatic gets pushed back in the early game, like last game, but they don't have an Akali to rely on, are they going to fall behind? Are they actually going to start getting snowballed on top of? That's my real question, because the Akali was such an outlier, such an extreme case, that I feel like I didn't get to see all of what the real Enigmatic, you know?
I mean, this time around, they had their potential of having the Set and Silas available. If the Syndra is locked in, ASU have forfeited one of their bans in terms of the Akali ban.
Uh-huh.
So either Set or Silas will be available for the power pick early, and Enigmatic say, okay, you ban out the Akali, we'll take away one of the strong points as well, Soraka potentially being banned away.
Yep, that's the hover coming down. Enigmatic, they don't want to deal with any wacky picks in the top lane, so I could see why you would just want to take it off the table, not have to worry about that rearing its head into the rest of this pick and ban phase, but still a bit more time on the clock. There it is. Yeah, get that on out of here. And now the final ban coming out for ASU. Like you said, something's gonna slip through, whether it be the Set or the Silas.
Oh, and Braum
or
as
both.
well. So last time it was ASU with the Braum. This almost signals like we'll see a completely different game than game number 1 here, with Soraka obviously being the powerhouse from game number 1 for the side of ASU, and Akali being banned away for Enigmatic. I wonder if this means most of the compositions are actually going to change up pretty heavily.
Well, one thing is for certain. I think this Misfortune pick actually makes a huge amount of sense. ASU take away the Braum, and Enigmatic are like, oh, no Braum? Well, that actually sounds pretty good for a Misfortune pick. Locked in it is. as that is going to bring some heavy damage into the team fight phase. Once again, the only problem is for Enigmatic, they once again are sort of lacking that late game carry in the marksman position that you sometimes rely on, but it could all still come to fruition. If you remember the mid game last game, it was just win after win for Enigmatic, and part of that is due to the fact that you don't have to cater around your AD carry. You don't have to peel or give a lot of resources to, because Misfortune just functions on her own.
Yeah, and I wonder if we actually, because last time we actually saw Enigmatic get target ban on the support role in second round, I wonder if Enigmatic are actually just going to grab, I think, the Leona here, because I think Leona pairs very well with Misfortune. Take it on the board, make sure to get yourself a very nice composition and see if they can run with it. But ASU grabbing the Echo, which is a surprising blind pick here, that can go in the jungle or the mid lane, I believe. So Tristana locked in as well. So ADC and potential flex pick coming in for ASU.
Well, it's honestly an interesting flex for the most part, especially because of the fact that Tristana can be run in the mid lane as well. So really interesting stuff, actually. But more towards my point that was going on earlier, I'd love to see Tristana into the hands of Fu, because that's that late game AD carry that it seemed to just gel with him. He was on the Ezreal. He was doing a great job of enduring all of this early burst coming into the team fights, and then he would find his stride. He would just start to take it over past that point. But there's the set that we saw slipping through the ban phase right into the hands of Enigmatic. I'm not sure if ASU are maybe questioning their banning decisions, the Braum in particular, because I don't know if they've gained anything from banning Braum. That's the big question for me. By the way, set locked in, looking like the Gragas gonna be the next lock in, and there it is, the dynamic duo.
Absolutely, one's a big fat man, the other one does crunches in the middle of your in the middle of your lane.
Could
so I mean,
not be more of a foil, to be honest.
We do see the Kled being hovered, so it looks like a double trouble Yordle composition is coming out here. Kled being one of the few that I feel probably could deal with the set pretty easily. Kled is able to dash in and out. Not only does he have the Grievous Wounds situation set up on his Bear Trap, I believe, and he also has the 4-shot, the 4 proc on his W, so able to clean through pretty easily. We do see the Yasuo banned away, and I think that's a very appropriate ban here, considering the Gragas and the set both have ways to kind of at least get someone airlifted and potentially set up.
Yeah, that's honestly a pretty smart ban coming out from ASU. We know how much some teams love the Yasuo Gragas combo, so that's just straight up denied, and now you have to look for a different mid laner if you're the side of Enigmatic. The Ezreal ban. No surprise there, because like we mentioned earlier, I mean, Tristana can be flexed into the mid lane, and that could have been like, oh, the 200 IQ play in the pick and ban phase coming out from ASU, but not this time around. In case it was, that's taken off the table and respect given over to Fu.
Absolutely. And Leona banned away, so we were talking about it before, right? The pairing of Leona Misfortune is so strong. Banning it away, take away that potential lockdown on one character. And Nautilus in response. So this is definitely focused around that bottom lane once again.
Makes a lot of sense. Both teams haven't locked in their supports yet, so they're still seeing a lot of pinching. I still have a lot of questions about ASU more than anything. Where's the Echo gonna go? Is the Tristana going to be going into the bot lane? One thing's for certain, though, you do give yourself a good amount of engage with the Kled ultimate, and this does bring back a bit of that just death ball composition that we saw ASU rolling with in game one. They were just playing front-to-back team fights, and they appreciated it. Now with all right, that's definitely a curveball, but not the worst thing that I've seen, because I've seen Soraka top, so that's not the worst thing. Pike as in the support position. We're just going for all of them.
We're full sending this right now.
See, if I was a batter, I would be missing all of these pitches right now. Jesus.
Even better, Diana, the one champion that you really don't want assassinating in the backline. Last time, Denley pulled it off with the Akali, and now he picks up another one that has been seen as just an overbearing presence in that mid lane. And all right, he's doing it again. 50-50. Is he choosing it or not?
Speaking of overbearing presence, this is just one present after another right now coming through. Blitzcrank, lock it in. Do it.
Don't encourage this action with this.
You gotta live a little orbital. This is peak League of Legends, like I was talking about
mid.
earlier.
I don't like seeing a hand come grab me. It's not fun, okay?
Well, that can be said for most people, I think. But either way, it's coming out this game. Blitzcrank locked into the bot lane, and this is a very aggressive one coming out from Enigmatic Gaming. Misfortune Blitzcrank. You got your harass, but you've also got your all-in. And best of all, it's a lot of gank assist when that Gragas comes back around. So it's really promising stuff. Whoa! Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So that's Echo jungle, Kassadin mid, and that is going to be Tristana bottom lane as well. It's definitely a lot of gambles coming through for both sides. I mean, the Blitzcrank, by definition, is sort of a gamble. It's like playing like slot machines. The Pyke as well. Pyke sort of needs to get rolling to be, I don't know, useful. And of course, the Kassadin just needs to get out of that laning phase, which can be so difficult. But Enigmatic, I mean, they have proven that if they get into the mid game, they can find their way through these team fights. And I think they give themselves yet another divey composition to work with. You've got the Set, the Diana piling in. You've still got the support of the bullet time coming out from Misfortune. And finally, the Blitzcrank to add a bit of the unexpected to the party.
Oh, absolutely. But I do want to touch back on this Kassadin, which is a champion that we've actually only seen come up, I believe, in the last about 4 weeks of this early start of the season. Is Kassadin is a champion that back in, I think, obviously like season 1, we had the expect gate backdoor, but he had massive swings in play and win rates. And recently, we've seen him come back and soar in that area. He has become a solo queue monster in that mid lane, just destroying people left and right. And I think this is honestly the answer that ASU needed. Last time we saw ASU put Who's This Guy on, Orianna, which is a good utility champion, but this time give him a little bit more pressure, right? Give him that chase potential, give him the chance to output that damage. You don't always need utility. You have enough utility. You have the Pyke, you have the Kled, you have the Echo. You also have the Tristana. Now the power comes in. Now it's also ASU that has the potential to flank, to catch someone off guard, and to chase. I absolutely love the cast into the Diana pickup here.
Yeah, and to even furthermore onto your point, hey, this is a similar spot that Who This Guy was in last game, where he was playing on the back foot a little bit in the early game, but he was hanging in there for the most part. It's just when Akali started doing Akali things, things got a little sketchy. You were like, oh, that doesn't look too pretty, and eventually just Den Lee just completely overshadowed his mid lane opponent. But this time around, I think Who This Guy in the mid lane for ASU has a real chance to shine here on the Kassadin. And like you said, it's a really interesting composition. You've got a lot of things moving around. The Echo, the Kassadin, the Kled all flying around. The Pyke as well to once again bring some of that pick potential. You could really just snowball a team fight into your favor. And the best part about that is that's your cleanup crew, like you were mentioning, Orbital. The Kassadin is just so good at chasing down some of those final kills and securing that ace for your team.
Yeah, and I'm super excited to see what they can do with it. We are getting the last few picks in. So as we wind down, I asked you last time, and I believe you had called it once again. You had called, I think it was ASU for that game.
Yeah, I did.
And so I want to get your opinion this time again with these picks locked in, with how everything has gone. Or I guess you didn't call last game. I'm very sorry.
Yeah,
how about
I didn't.
This one? What do you think is going to happen as we have what seems like brand new picks across the board?
Right. It's either redemption or I lose the pick twice in a row. But I'm gonna go with Enigmatic because it's kind of the same thing that they're running. They're still running that dive. They got a lot of snowball potential, and Enigmatic, I mean, I have a lot of faith, of course, in the mid lane. Mid lane's holding Diana, so why am I gonna bet against that? To be honest, yeah, that's pretty much my logic going into this. I don't want to bet against Enigmatic because they have shown that they can stick around in these losing games and they can find their time to shine. So that's gonna be my vote going into this game.
All right, well, we will take that. We'll see if the Blitzcrank brings you to a win as well, or if the Kassadin, Kled, and Pyke can throw a wrench in Enigmatic's plans. I mean, we saw the battle that went on in game number 1. We saw the fight potential come out of both these teams, and honestly, it came down to that last defining moments. You lost someone in the bot side, you take the pick, you either, hard rush someone's mistakes or you don't do it at all. So we'll have to see who can take control of this game in number 2. But before we get into it and before we go to our commercial break, I do want to talk to you about Sector 6, one of our other amazing sponsors. Sector 6 Apparel is a leading esports apparel company providing on-demand printing for groups of all sizes. Sector 6 Apparel designs comfortable and stylish equipment and clothing for professional esports organizations and collegiate programs, as well as your very own Upsurge esports. If you want premium esports clothing and would like to support us at the same time, head over to Sector 6 Apparel at sector6apparel.com/collections/Upsurge esports. Check out Sector 6 Apparel today and rep Upsurge esports or your favorite team in style today. Once again, please stick around as we're going to go to a short commercial break, but we'll be right back with game number 2 between ASUC and Enigmatic Gaming. Don't go anywhere. welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 between ASUC and Enigmatic Gaming. We have what is setting up to be a pretty heavy brawl right now, with Nuffies on that Blitzcrank, and ASU saying, we know all the tricks, we know all the trades, we're set for it.
That's right. It's I see your Blitzcrank and I raise you 1 pike in the bot lane as well. So that's going to be as action-packed as it gets. But speaking of action-packed, this is an invade coming through.
Uh-oh.
And they might collide.
Oh, they're going. Oh no, they're gonna be collide. Oh, this could be so dangerous right now. This could be.
Oh, look at this.
They're looking for it. They got MF. Shino has been caught. He's been silenced as well, but they pull over Fu as well. Fu jumps out. This is crazy. There goes
double.
the static field, and that's what they're gonna get. Fu almost gets taken all the way out as Blight is winning this trade, but it actually looks like even though Enigmatic Gaming started that invade, they still won the fight. Burning multiple summoners. We see a Ignite from Denli down. We see a flash from Shino as well. And another hold, Nuffles. Nuffy says, please some more. That is a good damage. Silence as well. He jumps all the way back, and Yomihime is now going all the way in.
Oh, it's a brawl.
That is a good damage. Shuno now ignited as well.
No
Devon
flash.
says, I will take this. He gets it. Devon gets it, and that's a flash for flash in the bottom lane, as we do see multiple summoner spells burn at the 1 minute 50 mark as everyone's trying to go back to lane.
That's right. Fashionably late over back to the lanes. And to be honest with you, I was kind of disappointed after that first fight. I was like, oh, no one died. And then it just kept going and going. Nuffies was looking for trouble, and he certainly did find it for his team. That is, of course, the first kill going right into the pocket of Devmont on the Kled. Not on Soraka this game, so certainly we're going to be seeing a different side of him this time around.
Yeah, I definitely like it, but Blight already stacking up his passive charge on his, I believe it's his W, so feeling pretty happy about that. Gonna be charging forward, yeah, the Haymaker, and honestly, it's all about Devmont trying to make this work because, again, his play with Soraka was a little bit iffy, being in the wrong spot at a few times, and we'll definitely have to see if he can make it work. Yomihime actually jumps in, misses, gets the pull on Shuno. However, Fu just said, I'm just content farming, don't go too hard.
Yeah, big whiff coming out, and that's, of course, the end of that engagement for the most part. This is hopefully going to be a quiet lane for Fu. You were mentioning it earlier, but he's just going to be focusing on farming because Tristana just gets better and better with age.
We did just see a 3-camp take from Cyborg. Meanwhile, Red XP is also doing the same, but Yomihime goes very low, and Fu taking a lot of punishment right now. And I mean, Yomihime not in the right spots as much as he would wish.
Absolutely. I think you gotta start asking questions like, hey, why you hook? Because me just want farms. Either way, Red XP, he's hovering around. The wave, though, not in the best position, but it will eventually push down. So you can see, whoa.
Yeah, big jump forward. Who's this guy? Says, please help. And Cyborg actually flashes forward.
Wow.
Very nice gank coming in on that mid lane. And Cyborg, Goat, and Denli already putting one up on the board.
Yeah, out of nowhere. And there goes the Kassadin pick that you were hoping would get out scot-free this time around. Punished in the early game. Very quick gank coming out from Cyborg Goat. And here's the parallel conversions.
Yeah, we do see a jumping on the bot side, but no stun goes down, and
what are you? Oh! That's not good.
We'll chalk that up to unfortunate circumstances, but that is a huge loss for ASU. It seems like they're trying to force a couple of these engages, and it's just not working for them.
That's certainly one way to put it. It is not working for them. That is a fact right there. And now the bottom lane of ASU put quite far behind now. You can see the HP very low, and this is going to be the opportunity for Shuno and Nuffies. They take their kill, and they take it all the way to the bank, perhaps. Nope, actually canceled. Oh, the hook! Wow.
I don't think I'm going to get a cast this game with how quickly the kills are going. Even in the top side, Devmont not happy with where he is, trying to get Snarl back and is not able to. Blight just 1v1s him and might get a 1v2.
Red XP, if he dies a second time, his early game is over. But he's going for the parallel convergence. Doesn't land.
And that's a not stun as Blight, I believe, does have Haymaker prepped. Is going to launch. Oh my
Oh,
lord.
man. That's when you walk away.
And that, honestly, is the most unfortunate series of events I feel. And honestly, great pick timing on the side of Enigmatic Gaming to get 4 clean kills for literally nothing.
Oh, this
I feel
is
very
just
happy about
smart.
that. Red XP now getting chased down. Might get over to, no. Cyborg Goat, not that much of a goat just yet. Does say, okay, I'll hold back and not go too crazy.
That's right. Sometimes being the GOAT means not going for really low or really high risk plays, but this is Blight once again putting the punches down.
Oh, but this is actually bad as Blight actually has a showstopper. There he goes. The slam down. No, he outed a minion. He outed a minion.
Ah, yeah, hate to see it happen. Nuffy's around the wings. Not going to get hit by the parallel convergence. Looking for a bit of trouble of his own, like at that level 1. Doesn't find the hook, but it's still looking real promising for Enigmatic Gaming as well as my vote. Orbital, I voted for these guys, and they're doing good so far.
Absolutely.
Oh, just kidding.
Nuffy's getting found out a little bit, and they go over the wall, but Denley says hello. Flashes forward, gets a 2-man stun. That is going to be Fu going down. They feels great about this. Enigmatic Gaming go on a friggin' rampage as they pick up another one, and that's going to be this guy going down. That is a double kill for Shuno, and a single kill for Denley. Shuno is now 4-1-1. He is happy, and Enigmatic Gaming will easily take Dragon number 1.
Oh, everyone on Enigmatic Gaming ecstatic thus far. They get the 3-for-0. They get the early dragon as well. That one being the Ocean Drake. And what more can you ask for of this early game? Enigmatic get everything and the kitchen sink.
And that was... I don't know if that was just Enigmatic finding their flow in the game state or not. But it seems like ASU have been picked clean at every attempt that they made. Deadmon on this top side got first blood and yet still seemed to give up a lot of unfortunate trade potential at that point and is now getting dueled once again. And it's just like, he looks comfortable and yet not too comfortable on this champion as well.
Man, it's gambles. It was gambling from the start. You know, we saw the pick and ban phase, and it's like, wow, these are some interesting picks, but there's big disconnect going on right now for the side of ASU that we didn't see in last game's early game, right? ASU was actually got off to a really good start. It was like their engine was already warmed up. Their communication seemed really on point, but losing momentum has caused them to go cold. Now the gang coming into the top side. This might be a bit of a reprieve, but the 2v2.
Yeah, that is possible. Showstopper does go out, but Blight is still taking very low. Does get the shield from the Haymaker. Feels great about it. He might actually get the kill. He got it. Nuffy's got it. Red XP is now on the run. And the double kill goes to Neffy. Who's this guy? Oh, the explosive cast actually lands. Predictive hit right there, but just a little bit off the mark. Almost bounced him right back. And that is just... Enigmatic are now putting on a clinic in game number 2.
And they... I mean, catastrophe striking the side of ASU. Every fight they engage is just negative coming out for them. Who this guy has not had an early game. Same can be said for the rest of ASU. 0-3 on Red XP. He has not existed thus far. And the Rift Herald being secured. This might be a pick. Denley going to be hopped over. There's the shields, though. Not taking too much.
All right, this might be at the first kill. They do get the moon fall, but there we go. A nice static field goes down, and oh my lord, Enigmatic saying you killed our partner. We'll take 2 for 1, as well as the Rift Herald. They're going to get multiple plates for this.
That is a big revenge take coming out for Enigmatic, and the train doesn't stop here as Shelly arriving onto the Rift. This is a massive push, and first brick gold. While the plates are still up, 9.5 minutes. It's all going in the side of Enigmatic. This tier 2 as well, quite low, but big payoffs out of all of these picks coming through. The Blitzcrank is paying off in dividends. The set has proven to be that top lane pick that fell through the bans, but was banned for a good reason. He's still ridiculously good in the early game.
Absolutely, and at 10 minutes, Enigmatic sitting with a solid 4.8k lead feeling great about what's going on, have already opened up that mid lane, which, as many people know, is pretty much the pivotal point where you can start going in,
Yeah.
warding the jungle, starting to gain a little bit of vision control.
Yeah, this
They
is
are absolutely happy where they are right now.
absolutely. They are going to. This is going to allow Den Lee really more than anyone to be shoving out these waves. And look what he's doing right now, rotating to the sides. First, going to be taking out some of these pink wards. Then he's going to be freed up to move around. Nice hook once again from Nuffy. Shuno to bring the damage. There's the D mount.
I mean, if you wanted to get a pick, this was the way. There it is. Bullet time says you're not going anywhere. Beautiful placement on that ultimate. And Shuno picks up his 7th of the game, sitting on a 700 gold bounty right now.
And might just get even better. Support going to be walking into the wrong neighborhood. Den Lee is so strong for the little gold that he has. Diana just post level 6. Stay the heck away from her because she will blow someone up.
And I mean, how do you crawl your way back from this switch? How do you, as ASUC, say we need to find a way to win? What is their initiative to try and get back in this game?
Yo, it's honestly the late game. You look at the composition and you're like, wow, all these champions sound really good post 30 minutes. And that's the biggest obstacle right now. The whole other 20 minutes of the game that the side of ASU have to get through. There's a pick, though, coming out. Nice stopwatch. And is it going to get the Gragas out?
Not at all, as Red XP actually comes up to clean that one. And that actually means Dragon is available as well, so this might be the turning point. Dragon is coming up. That is a Cloud Dragon, so that might help a lot. Here we go. Skarl coming in with the charge. Bled in hard pursuit, and the rest of the team is there. They catch Shuno, the exact one that they were hoping for. They climb under the tower as well.
Wow.
Also, in the top side, Blight actually got stopped. Cassidy went in with that snap, and they get it. Nephies is going to go down next. Big static field. He does get a 1-for-1 trade there, but that's not going to be enough. They claim a total of 3 in the last 30 seconds. A beautiful way to bring it back, as we were just talking about it.
That's right.
They do collect there and are able to make their way in. Beautiful stop by Who's This Guy, and, you know, able to hold it down.
That's right. Caster Curse works in remarkable ways, to be honest. Someday I'm going to be like, and he's not going to win the lottery. There's no way he's going to win the lottery, and I'm going to buy a lottery ticket too. So we'll see if that works out for myself.
Use it to your advantage.
That's right. Yeah, game the system. Yeah. But either way, is still the mid tower taken over from the side of Enigmatic Gaming. And they're looking for a bit more as well. Blight, he still packs a punch. You got to watch your step around him. But Yomihime, as well as the rest of ASU, they have been finding the odd pick here and there. My question is, Orbital, how consistent is it? How reliable? How can you reproduce this good fortune that has come into the hands of ASU?
I mean, honestly, it's still a very steep mountain to climb. You did get 2 very lucrative picks in Shuno and on the Gragas, and you know, you just got to keep doing it. Here we go. This is the way to do it. Find those picks. You try and do it, and there it is. A nice hit there. Fu getting his 2nd kill of the game. Red XP as well, diving in the backline. Doesn't have the ultimate available, actually does. Chrono breaks all the way back, and there you go. They were overextended. They're going to go, and now they're just walking in 1 by 1. Cyborg Goat says, hello, I'll take the explosive cast, and Blight is here as well. This is a very good stand. If they can get away from it,
they want to dive?
Can they hold back? And I mean, I think they did it. I mean, you need to find picks like that. The reason that Enigmatic Gaming are so prevalent right now is because they've been on the aggressive force, but if you can find those people that are constantly overextended and find that little chink in the armor, you know, you just say, okay, they're overextended, just go for it, you know, pull that trigger, say, thank you very much. And they did it right there. They collect 2. Yes, they're losing towers, but you have to start small. What can I get? Okay, we can't get objectives. We can't get towers. What can we get to get gold back? Take those kills. Take those kills and then run with it. Very nice shot from ASU.
Yeah, ASU, they're doing their best to come back into this game. But on the contrary, I actually do have to give some good amount of props to Enigmatic Gaming. They're dropping here and there, but they certainly aren't falling behind in momentum in the objective department because they still secured 1 dragon. They're still 3 towers ahead of their opponent. ASU has yet to pick one up yet. And you're finding that even in these team fights that they're losing, they're still managing to focus on objectives. They still have really good macro movements going for themselves. So it's certainly, like you said earlier, a steep hill to climb for ASU to really claw back. It's not just win these team fights. It's really just change the direction of the entire game. And that takes a lot of different things changing for themselves. But right now, the vision still in the direction of Enigmatic Gaming because of this Blitzcrank pick. The hook doesn't land, but the ground is gained for themselves.
Absolutely, and that is, and again, Nuffy's, we were slightly criticizing early, right? Moving up in that early advantage, giving away first blood, and even in the bottom lane, you know, potentially taking some poor trades, but he has shown great efficiency with this pick, and honestly, his team follows up as well. I'm loving their pick potential, their pick style gameplay.
Absolutely. This Blitzcrank turned out much better than I could have anticipated, and this might just be a pick that you've got to look back at the tapes when you're thinking about a matchup versus Enigmatic and say, do we really want to give him the Blitzcrank again? You know, in the weeks to come, maybe teams will start respecting this more because it has had a good showing thus far. Now moving over to the bottom side of the map, it's just like clockwork for the side of Enigmatic Gaming. Took the Rift Herald, cool. That's all we need to do with the top side of the map. No one is there right now. It's a dead zone. All that matters right now is how you're going to make a play around this next dragon, because we've seen dragons, they actually matter in this matchup because it's so evenly matched for the most part.
Yeah, and they just spotted out Cyborg a little bit further away, and you can actually see Devmont trying to head him off. If they're able to split this team up as best they can, they might have a chance to collapse once again. I like this slight play, but unfortunately it's not going to happen as Dragon is coming up as well. About 49 seconds on that, and Predator has been popped. Cyborg bot says, I'm here, don't try anything on my team.
Yeah, inside track available for the side of Enigmatic Gaming. They could just fall back at any time to the Dragon if that opportunity arises. Rift Herald, or Rift Skull rather, in their favor as well. It's a very similar situation that ASU got into in Game 1, where they have trouble controlling the river because they just don't have the composition. They just don't have the picks, and they don't have the goal to really facilitate them flexing their muscles, gaining control of the river, then starting to sweep it out. So right now, that's the biggest disconnect right now, and that's a solution that they need to find for themselves.
Absolutely, and with these dragons coming up here, it is a little bit worrisome because mountain dragons, although they are kind of slept on, I feel, adding into, I think it's 8% armor and magic resist as they stack up, I think a lot of people sleep on the fact that as you get that, it means you don't have to build as tanky as you usually do. Instead of having to build both a Dead Man's and possibly a Frozen Heart, you only need to build one of those to really have the same efficiency as before. And
absolutely.
If you allow them to do that, that just means they have potential to actually build more damage oriented and to be able to allow themselves a little bit more aggressive natures and take a few more risks.
I think it works really nicely for the side of Enigmatic because they're all about the all-in. They're all about the burst. You've got people that bring this upfront damage, like the Gragas with the Predator, like the Diana, and of course, like Set, who's reliant on some of these key abilities to really shine in team fights. And when you have the Mountain Drake as an advantage as well, the Mountain Soul, rather, you're just going to get all that more luxury to win out on some of these all-in fights. You're going to get better exchanges in the first 5 seconds of a team fight, and a much better chance of just taking it all from there. Conversely, though, if you're the side of ASU, you need to, once again, weather the storm. You need to outlast these team fights because your backline, your late game, it looks really solid. You've just got to keep those backliners alive. The Cassian and the Tristana are an integral part of this composition.
I have to agree with you there, and now we see a little frontal push right now. Who's this guy has been slowly trying to farm up, is now building into that tier, going for that Saracen Embrace, hopefully. Only has 5 stacks on his Rod of Ages, and I mean, if we just take a look,
there it
we
is.
See the charge coming out. They have found 2 of the big fighters.
Oh,
they might have caught
stun.
him with Blight. Gets a beautiful stun, but there they go. Showstopper is not enough. He hasn't used it just yet, but they are fighting. Look at the fight on the backline. Phil gets deleted. Red XP is on the back, trying to do his best, but he accidentally autos the wrong person. That is 3 free kills for this side of Enigmatic Gaming. They feel great about what's going on as Yomihime is going to run away, possibly give him the 4th.
Well, Den Lee, the miracle worker on the Diana, lives through all the damage, decides to blow up the Tristana, as well as another, that kill going over to Blight, but the game not lasting as long as as the Kled did. That's the base cracked open, the inhibitors taken away, and a triumphant victory for Enigmatic Gaming. They just turn on.
And that was the best counter initiative I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Again, Devmon, I feel ASUC pulled the right move. You go in, you dive in as best you can. Oh no. Oh, Yokohime just got silenced and now is just deleted.
I see.
We're trying to review the last fight. We're not even allowed to do that.
I see. That's bad to worse, I would say, for the side of ASU. The window of opportunity for themselves, it was there, but the door is slowly closing, to be honest, right now. Enigmatic Gaming have just executed team fights so well, and honestly, you look back on game one, that's exactly how they won it. They executed team fights really well, even no matter how difficult it was. Oh, they had to get the best flank to execute this team fight. Well, that's exactly what they did. And here in this game, they're once again pulling off the impossible, and that could be just another marker of why they are strictly a better team, perhaps. I know it's like a bold statement to put out this early on in the season, but you really got to appreciate some of the moves that they are coming out with here in week one.
Absolutely. The deep champion pools and the flexibility that they have to try and make these plays is something that many people can't come up with, with Nuffy's on this champion. And I mean, getting pulls like that over and over again, it sets people off. It's very difficult to describe it, but when you can play both backline as well as frontline, and to this great performance, it shows that you not only encompass the champion pool, but the play styles themselves.
Right.
Many players tend to have a certain play style. They tend to be super aggressive, and it doesn't change from champion to champion. If you play aggressive, your champion style will be aggressive as well. If you play passive, you play passive. But it's just, he is very versatile. Nuffy's has shown that he can do just about anything that he wants. So I'm very excited to see what he can pull off later on, and as well as to see if ASU can grow from and even in this game, potentially an 0-2 start to the season.
Yeah, could be definitely a big hit on their morale, but you're hoping they bounce back as well. This next dragon coming up in 10 seconds. While we've been conversing away, Enigmatic Gaming has wasted no time taking the rest of these objectives. No tier 2 left standing. The top inhibitor still laid bare. And of course, this next dragon, not long for the world. One dragon away from that mountain soul that we were talking about, Orbital. And honestly, how do you come back? What does a successful team fight to me look like for the side of ASU? I think it's just making a pick, maybe even deleting Denli to start it all off. This guy's way too strong in team fights, and you've got to get him off Summoner's Rift.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, here we go looking at it, and Yokohime is just, it feels like he's granting over a couple kills as he's just getting run down.
That's a crit.
Yeah, that felt bad. That's what that was.
That feels so bad.
Just take 4 autos to the face and it's all right. Cool,
okay. Guess I'm out of the game for 30 seconds, so that was nice. The push coming through now onto the mid inhibitor, demolish as well. Who can stop the train? That is Enigmatic. That was a hair away.
Yeah, and it also goes out to show, at this point, it really is Enigmatic's game to lose. Unless they walk in 1v1 at a time into 5 members, I don't think they're going to lose this game, as we see the mid tower being shoved down. The Demolisher proc has gone off, and here we go. All 5 members are up on the map. They actually look to fight a little bit, but a nice little crescent strike comes out from Den Lee. Able to hold it, but then they grab Devmon into the fight. There we go. Moonfall crashes down around the mall. Showstopper says thank you. Gets another one. They are going rampant as Light says thank you very much. There we go. That is the team wipe that we were looking for. An ace at 24.5 minutes. Enigmatic take the series 2-0.
Snap of the fingers, and there goes the side of ASU. 2-0 for Enigmatic. And what a triumphant victory for themselves. That last team fight, a statement coming out for them, and a great start to UML.
I would have to agree, and I mean, this time, guns blazing, didn't drop, I feel, a single team fight or a single rotation.
Yeah.
They pulled it off beautifully. Denli, again, showing up, and Shuno this time as well, pushing forward. I mean, all the carriers on their side put up great numbers. Blight going deathless this time around, and as well as if you take a look at the damage charts here, all three of the carries, the set in the top lane, the Diana and Misfortune, all clearly out damaged their counterparts, sitting well above the 10k threshold.
Orbital, we got to call back to some of the questions we had in the pick and ban phase. I was so concerned after the Akali got banned. I was like, oh, Akali's out? All right. I don't think Den Lee's going to have the same performance. He had the same performance. It literally looked like just a reskinned Akali. Like, he was still blowing people up. He was doing the exact same thing. But it's another champion. It's depth to his champion pool. And it's another concern for anyone going up against Enigmatic in the future. So really promising stuff coming out from the entire lineup. Cyborg Go, we remember some of his great early games that he had for himself. He was definitely active across the map, wasn't falling behind to Red XP at any point in the game. You look towards the bot lane, and I think they were actually subtly the most, like, a very dominant bot lane, because they were running MF. The combo was, I believe, MF and Rumble in the bot lane game 1.
Yes.
And this time around, MF Blitzcrank. It was the same story, though, where they were just controlling the lane. They always had priority. They were always rotating first. And crucially, they were keeping Fu down, this promising carry for ASU that I thought would shine on the Tristana, but he just was not given the opportunity.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. They did well. They shut down these spots that, they saw the weaknesses that they had themselves. And Enigmatic game 2 came firing on all sides. I mean, looking forward, do you see Enigmatic just going on a rampage, or do you think they might stumble later, or what do you think is going to happen?
I mean, Enigmatic did lose. No, I wouldn't say lose. They did drop a couple kills in the early game of game 1. That might be an opportunity for another team to really find a snowball and successfully hold it for the most part. But right now, I mean, depth of champion pool, lots of versatility in their lineup. Den Lee, just this dominant mid laner coming in and just blowing people up. And if you recall, if you rewatch that game 1, he completely changed the way we looked at Enigmatic gaming. We looked at Enigmatic gaming and we were like, they're kind of falling behind. They're not really making proactive plays. That was before the Akali came online. And that was also before, the rest of the series as a whole. It was just a different face that we saw from Enigmatic. Though I think if anyone wants to really take care of Enigmatic, they're going to have to reach deep into the pockets. They're going to have to really think about how to put them far enough behind to be able to snowball, because they just look like a promising team through and through. Coordination, they were pulling out great team fights, and best of all, like we said, diversity.
All right, well, that is it from us on the caster desk here. Again, congratulations to Enigmatic taking it 2-0 over ASUC. Once again, we will be closing out the night and the week with this match, but again, tune in next week as multiple teams face off in the second week of games. So from everyone here at the analyst and caster desk, as well as all our staff members, please, everyone, have a fantastic night and come back see us next week.
They're definitely gonna get Baron here. I'll have my heal back in 30 seconds at the very least, but...
Hey, Upsurge. Thanks. Appreciate the host. Got that raid.
Oh yeah, thanks, Sue.